Hi everyone, welcome to hopefully a quick video. I'm really excited about a package that's finally arrived. I ordered this at the beginning of the year and got some phone calls saying there were delays due to, well, obviously COVID and high demand and sort of resources and everything to get these cameras made due to demand. So it finally arrived. I got it yesterday, so I was just going to open it up and have a look. And here it is. This is the new ASI2600mmPro. Just get inside it and see. Oh, okay, so it's a bit bigger than my 1600, that's for sure, and a bit weightier, but it's got the usual USB 3 on the back, the 2 USB for the hub and the power, and the sensor. I won't expose this for too long because I don't want to get dust in it already, but I know there's a sensor in there. So yeah, very excited to get this on telescope and get some first light on it. Just go and have a look at what some of the specs are for this camera compared to the ASI1600, which I've currently been using. So I've pulled up a couple of diagrams from the ZWO site that kind of summarises some of the major features of the two cameras. Over here we've got the ASI1600 and over here is the 2600. First of all, you can see that the 1600 has a smaller sensor, it's a full third sensor, versus the 2600, which is larger, so it's an APS crop sensor. The 2600 is 16-bit and the 1600 is 12-bit. Down here, a couple of important features which sort of drew me towards this camera. First of all, the quantum efficiency of the 2600 is much greater than the 1600. So this has a 60% quantum efficiency, this has a 91% quantum efficiency. And in very simplified terms, what this means is that it's the efficiency of the sensor to be able to turn the light coming onto that sensor into signal and therefore into data for your image. So very simply put, if 100 photons were falling on the sensor, about 91 of those photons can be converted into electrons and therefore signal for your image. But this camera here, roughly only 60 of those photons will be utilized to help create an image, so you're going to lose like 40 of them, versus this one where you're losing about sort of 9 roughly, if we were to use these exact figures. I'm sure there's a bit more variation than this exact figure of 91 in reality, but anyway, you can still see it's much more efficient. The full well depth also of the 2600 is much greater. And having a greater full well depth means that you're less likely to saturate your pixels as quickly as perhaps you will with the 1600. Okay, hang on a minute. Let's demonstrate with some science. Okay, so it's not really science, it's actually more of a demonstration. But if we imagine that these glasses are pixel with a relatively low well depth, and if we have a light source, say some blue light coming in from a star, and it's hitting the central pixel, if a certain amount of light coming in saturates that pixel, the signal spills into the adjacent pixels and you end up with blooming of your star. Now, if we have a camera with pixels with a greater well depth, such as these deeper glasses demonstrate, and we take the same amount of light coming in from the star and hitting a pixel, you can see that it starts filling up that pixel, but that same amount of light does not spill into your adjacent pixels, and you're less likely to get blooming of the star. And I also understand that a greater full well depth means that you'll get a better high dynamic range in your image, obviously because you've got a greater ability to show that gradation from darker areas of your image right through to the lighter areas with the 2600. Now I'm just going to flick out of here. The other things I really liked about this camera compared to the 1600, if we just whiz down to this image here, is amp glow. Now you can deal with amp glow easily with dark frames, but it's sort of quite nice to not have to worry quite so much about that. So this is an example of amp glow. This is not the amp glow that I'm seeing in the 1600. This is more the amp glow that I get in my 294 MC Pro camera, where I get a starburst effect a little bit further up here, or sort of a burst effect if you like up here, and a bit of a glow over here and a bit of a glow over here. The 1600 has a bit more of a muted glow here and here and here, but with the 2600 they've shown an example of a 5-minute exposure with no amp glow, and in fact I have had a look at my 5-minute exposures, and that is certainly true. You don't see the amp glow, which is quite nice. But as I said, it's the fact that it's there in these other sensors is not a deal breaker, because you can easily get rid of them with dark frames. I also like the fact that it's got an anti-dew heater, which hopefully means I can continue to cool it down over 15-20 minutes or so, or less, during summer and winter, because I found my 294 MC Pro, particularly in summer, I had to cool it down very slowly over 40 minutes, otherwise I ended up with condensation in the middle of the sensor. Just trying to give an example of the difference in the size between these two cameras. You can see the ASI2600 is a lot smaller and obviously a lot lighter. Now, something I didn't realise when I bought the 2600 is that it requires you to bolt it onto the filter wheel. It doesn't screw on like the 1600 does, or the 294 MC Pro that I have. So I actually had to take the filter wheel apart and take the carousel out and then bolt the camera onto the filter wheel and then put it all back together again. It was a good excuse, should I say, to get the compressed air blower in there and try and get rid of some of the dust out of the filter wheel and off the filters. So here are a couple of images to compare what I collected with the 1600 versus the 2600. Both of these are 10-minute exposures on the Lobster Nebula, which is just near the Cat's Paw Nebula. Now, I want to be clear from the start, I am not trying to be negative about the 1600. I think it's a fantastic camera. It has been a fantastic camera, and it's been a workhorse for astrophotographers for quite a number of years and produces some amazing images. But it was interesting to see that when I compared these two similar exposure lengths, or identical exposure lengths actually, of 10 minutes each, how much more signal there was in the image from the 2600. Obviously the difference in the size of the frame here is related to the difference in the sensor size, but this has a lot more detail in the nebulosity in this 10-minute exposure compared to the image in the ASI 1600. It's also picking up a lot more stars as well, but and I guess that is related obviously to the quantum efficiency of the sensor, that it can convert a lot more of the photons hitting that sensor into signal and therefore into data to give you an image, compared to the 1600, so 91% versus 60%. So yeah, that was quite dramatic, I thought. I was not expecting to see such a huge difference, and it's quite exciting for future imaging with this new ASI2600mm Pro.